new numbers, and the storm is weakened just a little bit. It's a Category 2, but keep in mind now it's at 110 miles an hour, so it only misses Category 3 by 1 mile an hour. So give or take a little bit here or there really doesn't matter. The impacts for us will not change. Potential impacts. Here's Folly Beach, and we're continuing to keep a live camera on Folly Beach, Tides Hotel, because this will be a great indicator for us about the deterioration of the weather here down the road. And again, we'll get to the new numbers in a moment. Here is the latest satellite loop. You see Nicole. Nicole's down to a tropical storm. A lot of folks saying, what's going on with Nicole? Is it going to merge with Matthew? The answer there is most likely not, but we really got to keep an eye on this as it moves off to the north. And again, northwest, moving about 12 miles an hour now as it's just to the east of Jacksonville Beach as we speak, and roughly 135 miles, Chrissy, 135 miles south of Savannah. About 135 miles south of Savannah. I time it, or at least kind of measure it from Charleston, about 170. We'll continue to update that as the storm is moving. So location 30.2 north, 80.7 west. If you're like me and you like to kind of plot by hand, just put the latitude and longitude on the map like we used to do back in the old days, you can see that we're really close to the longitude of Charleston. Charleston is 80 and this is 80.7. Charleston is 33 latitude and it's 30.2. So you can track along with us. The winds are 110, moving to the north at 12, again, east of Jacksonville Beach, Florida. The center is east, and again, the center is very, very critical because that's where the strongest winds are. We want that center to stay offshore, but it's just 40 miles offshore right now, so even any little bit of a wobble could impact extreme northeast Florida and even into Georgia. And because the coastline of South Carolina kind of juts out just a little bit more, obviously our concern has been heightened just a little bit because it may take long for that bend, too long for that bend to take place, and then we could be impacted with a landfall. That's a real possibility right now. But what you've been experiencing here through the afternoon, as we see the winds continue to kick up, we've got a report of a wind gust off of Fripp Island over 60 miles an hour, so things are starting to turn in the atmosphere a little bit. And the radar showing the rain shield moving onshore, very typical of a landfalling or a tropical system that even stays offshore. And we know this from Julia and Hermine, that these rain bands just keep on coming. But as opposed to those two systems, those tropical storms that we had to deal with, this one's going to be a lot different. Pockets of heavy rain in the area out towards Hollywood, down to Seabrook, up Wando Way as you head up 41, 17. It's a soaking wet drive heading up towards Alwindal, McClellanville. Tornado watch until midnight. Fortunately, we haven't had anything really close to us in the immediate Charleston area, but not that far away down in Beaufort and Jasper counties, also Chatham County, Georgia earlier. This is the new track, and again, the bend continues that may eventually impact Florida again as a weaker system, but we'll worry about that here in a day or so. First, let's deal with what's going on right now, and there's the bend. It looks like it's going to be too late. In fact, right along the South Carolina coast, we could potentially see a landfall, maybe the western side of the eye wall as we move on into Saturday. This is Saturday afternoon, turning into a Category 1. This is Sunday morning. So again, this time period, probably overnight tonight into early morning, about breakfast time, that could potentially be the time when we see the worst weather and potentially have a landfall. Again, this is going to be really close, so we got to take everything we're saying with a little bit of grain of salt, just because any deviation in the track will change the conditions. We know the wave heights are going to be high because they already are, and as the storm lifts to the north, all of these high wave heights, including 30 feet there in the middle, will be moving northbound as well. All right, we're going to watch our gust map because this will be changing. 24 in Walterboro, 26 in Goose Creek, North Charleston, 36 Folly Beach, 23 in Moncks Corner. So that's going to be an issue. In addition to the wind, the rain. So what's going to happen is we're going to get a ton of rain. We've already started to see that. And with the winds and the rain coupled together, now you're looking at potential trees piling over on top of power lines that could cause massive power outages. That has been the history of this storm. Even though it didn't officially make landfall in Florida, they've had a lot of folks who have no power at this time down in Florida. 11 inches in Somerville, almost 11 inches in Walterboro, about 11 inches in North Charleston. These are the rainfall totals that we're anticipating. And we can't latch on specifically to these numbers, but I think the thought process is there. It is going to be, well, a wet period of time. And with that in mind, a flash flood watch is in effect for widespread 8 to 14 inches. Some areas could pick up even more. So the rain has started, and because we're probably going to get the entire storm from north to south, including the prolonged period of tropical storm force winds, this is going to be a long night and mainly a long day coming up for tomorrow. We'll send it back over to Brennan and Carolyn.